for the people of God. Thanks be to God. A lot has happened in the 20 verses in this second chapter, between verse 21 and verse 41. 12 years. The angels who brought the glorious news to the shepherds are long gone. The shepherds themselves surely are not all there. They have been replaced by some younger shepherds who have taken their place. And only a few of them now remember the story firsthand. The wise men who came to visit Jesus in Bethlehem are now 12 years older wise men. And perhaps a couple of them in retirement homes. The camels that brought them are 12 years older, and surely some of them are not able any longer to make long over-the-road hauling trips, and a couple of them have been put out to pasture, surely. And Jesus' family might have changed. We know that he had 4 brothers and 2 sisters at least, and he might not be the only child any longer in these 12 years. A lot has changed. Big changes. And he's now 12. 12 was the age when a Jewish boy became an adult, began to take on adult responsibilities. So at 12 now, he goes to Jerusalem with them to the Passover with a different sense. They've gone before, the text says. All Jews who lived within 20 miles of Jerusalem were required to go to the Passover every year. They lived further. They were about 65 miles away in Nazareth. But they went because it was a big event. I have a sense that on his 12th year, this was a very big event, an exciting event. They only got there once a year. Going up the hill to Jerusalem, to the shining city on the hill, and to the splendor and the lights of that metropolitan area. It was spectacular to see. Even the disciples in Mark, when Jesus took them to Jerusalem, they said, "Oh, Master, look at this beautiful temple and these huge and magnificent stones." You can still today stand and look at part of that temple, the western wall, and see the huge wall and the stones. And it is still impressive. He's 12 years old. He's now becoming an adult. My father became an adult at 12 years old. His father died. He was the oldest child. He took over the family farm to provide income for that family. At 12, out there just beyond Punxsutawney. Jesus now begins to take on adult responsibilities. And he thinks about this trip to Jerusalem. I think it must have been exciting. I think it must have been exciting. I remember as a young boy, we took our trip to Burkett Hollow, just beyond Punxsutawney, where my grandparents lived. It was exciting to go there for a week and stay on the farm, and we would be wakened up at about 2 or 3 in the morning after my dad had gotten a little sleep after work. And we would quietly load the car, and there were no lights out there in the country. The Beeler's house down the way was dark. The McNeil's house up the other way was dark. It was mysterious and exciting. And I remember getting in that car, that second-hand 1928 97 Buick, getting in the back seat with my brothers and my mother and my sister in the front seat with my dad. And in that dark, quiet, cool night, as we began to back out the driveway, I still can hear the crackling of the tires on that gravel driveway as we pulled out onto 209 and headed west. It was a long and exciting drive. There were no turnpikes then, no Route 80. We traveled over the river and through the woods and over the mountain to grandmother's house. It was exciting. I think it was exciting for Jesus to make this trip, this year especially, to Jerusalem. They're at the Passover, and they go through the events, and it's a meaningful time for all of them. And they start back home. And after a day's travel, they begin to assemble for their evening meal. They traveled in groups for safety purposes. Children often mingle with other children, and of course Jesus is now 12. He's not under the thumb of his parents like he once would have been. And they discover at the end of their first day's travel that he's not there. And they went back to Jerusalem quickly, Mary and Joseph, to find their son. And there he was in the temple, asking and listening and questioning and responding. And people were amazed. This was a special one. The text says Mary listened to what he said, and he went back with them to Nazareth, and he obeyed them. He must have felt reprimanded. But she says, the text says she looked at these events and pondered them in her heart. Like she did at his birth. She pondered them in her heart. Who is this, really? This special one. I'm sure she watched him grow. She saw some things about him that were different from the other children from time to time. We see that, don't we? Every now and then we'll see somebody play the piano at 7 years old and they're a maestro, and we wonder how they have gotten this kind of talent at this age. Or a young boy who at 9 years old can make all kinds of mathematical calculations in his head that seem beyond even the reach of a calculator. I'm not sure she saw that, but she saw some things that were special. There were reports, about him. There's the Gospel of Thomas that is not included in the New Testament. It tells about some really extraordinary things that Jesus did. Once at 5 years old, as the Gospel of Thomas says, he was molding out of clay sparrows. He had made 12 clay sparrows at 5 years old. And then he clapped his hands and they flew away. The Gospel of Thomas says once when he was 8, his father was making some furniture for a customer, Joseph, and things went awry, and the one piece of board was shorter than the other, and Jesus had to weigh them aside each other, and then he took the shorter one and stretched it to the length of the older one. But these stories seemed too bizarre. They're not included in the Bible. But I'm sure Mary pondered the unusual insight she saw in him. He was special. After all, he changed the water into wine. He fed thousands of people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. He healed people who were born blind. He raised Lazarus from the dead. And they wanted to make him their king. He was special. The Gospel of John says, oh yeah, he was special. In all of the universe, John says, in all of the universe, nothing that was ever made was made without him. And at the end of his gospel, he says, if all the things that he did and said could be written down in books, the whole world could not contain him. Yeah, he was special. So special. Do you know that in your hymn book there are 50 or more hymns written about his birth alone and his coming? I got to choose some of the hymns this morning. We'll be singing one after as we close today. I thought you ought to hear a Methodist hymn. You'll hear Charles Wesley. He was special. Some years ago, Shirley and I went downtown in Lansdale to the motorcycle show. Bike night. That's insider talk for those who love motorcycles, who love the hogs. Shirley put her leathers on and we walked in. It was a hot late afternoon. We walked around and if you've ever been there, you know it's like a grand fair with all of these motorcycles and all of these people in these concession stands. And it was hot. A man walked over to me. He wasn't dressed in his Sunday worship clothes. He had on a doo-wop rag on his head. His jeans were somewhat scruffy. He was not cleanly shaven. And he handed me a bottle of water. He said, here, it's hot, have a drink, have some water. And I said, no. I knew what he was doing. He was selling water. He wanted some money. And he said, no. I said, thank you, no. And I realized, I'll reach in my pocket. No. He said, let me. No. He said, it's yours. I don't want anything. Why are you giving me this water? And he pulled out a pamphlet and handed it to me. And he gave me the water because he was a follower of Jesus. And he knew what Matthew meant when he said, you are blessed when you give even a cup of water to one of these. He was a member of the Sons of God Motorcycle Club. I'm not sure he'd be comfortable here. But Jesus would welcome him here. Because his life was changed by this one, this special one. He was special. She was from an Armenian family. They had been attacked by some Turkish squad of soldiers. They'd come to their home and they had taken hostage some of the people. They had killed her mother and father and her brothers. And they took she and her sisters hostage. And the leader of this squad gave the sisters to the squad to do with as they wanted to do in their own lustful ways. He kept her for himself. And he used her and abused her. Within several days, she was fortunate enough to be able to escape and found her way to an Armenian refugee camp. She stayed there, and she, along with some others, were taught some medical skills, nursing skills, and they began to help care for others in that camp. As it turned out, one day some Turkish prisoners were brought there in bad health, and it was their task to care for them. And there he was, this one who had taken her and abused her and raped her. He was near death. And they said all she had to do was let him die, not do anything negative, just let him go and he would die. And she knew who he was. And she cared for him and nursed him. And when he had come back to health, the director of that camp took her one day beside his bed and he said, "Young man, you are alive only because of the care of this devoted nurse." And the man said, "Don't I know you?" She said, "Yes, you know me." And he said, "Why did you do this? Why didn't you let me die?" She said, "Because I follow the one who said to love our enemies. Jesus, the special one. And I needed to minister to you." Who else can bring those changes in us? We need, in this season, to give Santa Claus his due because he has a lot of influence around the world, but he can't do this. Socrates can't do this, change lives this way. Martin Luther couldn't change lives. My hero, Abraham Lincoln, couldn't change lives this way. But the special one from God, who came to give us hope and life and forgiveness of sin and eternal life. This special one. He can change us. I believe that. Do you believe that?